This one. Yeah. Also, I couldn't. I don't know. It was. I need to compose myself because we stayed up late for both these games. Packers 49ers Saturday, Bills Chiefs Sunday. Bit of disappointment, not just because of the fact that my team lost, but because it was a shit game to stay up till 4 a.m. for. Complete opposite last night. That was a absolute fucking pleasure to stay up for because it was just so good.
The only thing that kept me, that changed my mind was a Wendy's Frosty that turned into a full Wendy's meal that meant I stayed for the game. Otherwise, I was going to bed.
Yeah, we literally for that like before the game, Nima was like, yeah, I'm just not feeling great. I need to wake up and prioritize my health and my mind. We were like, that's all great, but we were like, this is it. Like there's 4 games left. And
I'd like to thank Wendy's for changing my mind.
Yeah, really appreciate shout out to Wendy's, man. What a great
shout out to Wendy's.
For any non-meat eaters, the opposite. For any meat eaters, Wendy's does bang, and it's a great football Sunday meal. Nathan, you back? I
was hoping you'd stay on that screen.
I was gonna, but I forgot to loop the track behind it, so it just went ding 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 down down, and I was like, I'm just gonna transition seamlessly so no one notices. But obviously, I've acknowledged that now.
So, Bills Chiefs.
Yeah, we were just saying.
I was saying like when I got in and my girlfriend was like, how was the American footballs? And I was like, I think it might have been the greatest game of all time.
Yeah, so... you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It was.
I was so hyped.
It was absolutely flawless. It was absolutely.
It was
flawless.
An incredible game.
I really wanted the Bills to win though. So I felt a bit because I was rooting for the Bills and
You're tired of the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, I'm obviously Mahomes is amazing. I wanted the Bills. I just want to see the Bills go to the Super Bowl again. I know they will because they're too good not to. Like that game proves that they'll be back. And this, as Mario was saying yesterday, this has potentially got is going to be the game, the rivalry for the next 10 or so years. It was unbelievable. It was so good.
It feels like the new Brady Manning to me. That's what it feels like, and a lot of people have been saying that. It just feels like Mahomes is in the better situation. He's got the better coach, and they have that little bit of magic that a really incredible team doesn't have most of the time.
Yeah.
So when they're
missing.
It comes down to that little intangible moment, which always goes the Chiefs' way, or currently goes the Chiefs' way. But the Bills cannot be ashamed of the way that they played yesterday. They played lights out football, and having rewatched the game, I was so surprised at how defensive a lot of it actually was. I think, given the score, and I misremembered it, thinking it was similar to the Bills Patriots, where it was just score, except that in the Chiefs' case, they just kept responding. Actually, wasn't the case at all.
It started quite slow.
Yeah, it really did.
Not slow, but cagey, very they were getting the feelers out for each team, sort of thing. Defenses were big.
And before we get into the actual specifics of the game, I wanted to ask a question. So, obviously that might be one of the best games we've ever seen, or it might be the best game we've ever seen. But to be was that the best game ever played is hard to comment on because obviously so many things factor into that. But one thing I was interested to know was, and it was hard for me to research this, I think it actually may have been, without question, the best single game where two competing quarterbacks have ever played against each other, because Mahomes, 33 of 44, 378 yards, 3 touchdowns, 69 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown. Josh Allen, 27 of 37, 329 yards, 4 passing touchdowns. He also rushed for 69 yards. Neither of them threw a pick. So combined, they threw for over 700 yards, rushed for over 130, and scored 8 touchdowns with 0 interceptions. I cannot remember a game where both quarterbacks were just playing at such a high level all the way through. It's just mental. Yep. It was just incredible to watch.
They both, in this game, they were the 21st and 22nd ever QB to throw 300 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and have a completion percentage of 72. Only 20 other people have done that before
Was
in
that,
playoffs.
in the playoffs? Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah, in the playoffs.
Do you mean like in one game, both QBs?
Just generally, generally, I think it was the 21st and 22nd instance that QB had done that in
because they did
in
it
the
so
playoff
quickly.
game.
They did it so quickly after each other because it's in the same game. So whoever
Yeah,
one of them hit
yeah.
300 yards first, and then the other one hit it after, and it was like, right, well, that's the 22nd guy to have done that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I said earlier, like I thought, despite the 0 turnovers and nearly 1,000 yards of total offense, the defenses actually did play really well. I thought there's arguments that Mahomes had a better game because he was playing against the number 1 total defense, the number 1 ranked scoring defense, and Josh Allen was playing against the 27th ranked passing defense. So on paper, it looked like it was easier for Josh Allen to put up those kind of numbers. Also, I think losing Tyrann Mathieu early in the game to concussion was absolutely pivotal for the Bills. Certainly Davis, their wide receiver, because obviously the one thing you can't fault the Chiefs defense for was they absolutely neutralized their number 1 receiver, Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs, 3 catches, 7 yards. The only big thing he did was catch that 2-point conversion. But if I can spin on that point for a minute, who do you think had the better game, Mahomes or Josh Allen? And who do you think, chat, as well? Comment your thoughts in the chat.
Well, Mahomes had more yards, 1 less touchdown, the same number of sacks, marginally better. He had the same what, sorry?
He had the same amount of touchdowns total. Because he just rushed for 1.
Oh, wait, rushed for 1. Yeah, I meant passing touchdowns even, sorry. He only had a marginally better QBR. I'd say they were on a par with each other. But
I would say Josh Allen.
I would say Mahomes had the better game because of what he did in the last 15 seconds of that game.
13 seconds.
Yeah, 13. There we go.
I would
take 2 seconds off.
I would say minus the last 13 seconds, and overtime, the whole game. I would say Josh Allen.
I would say Josh Allen. I know obviously Patrick Mahomes won the game, but I'll say why I think Josh Allen had the better game is because I rewatched the highlights, watched the 20-minute highlights, and then I was like, I feel like I didn't get all the information I needed, so then I watched the 40-minute highlights. And what was interesting was the things that go unnoticed when reviewing who had the better game in these kind of situations is that we tend to look at like passing yards, touchdowns, very big moments, like a la the 13 seconds to get in scoring range, which again, I'm not discounting at all. That was absolutely insane. As Shannon Sharp joked, it took Patrick Mahomes less time to get in field goal range from the 25 than it did from Dak Prescott to run 1 QB draw and get down and spike the ball. So, I'm not denouncing how
that's amazing,
how impressive that was. But the thing that stood out to me the most when rewatching the game was 3rd down for the Bills and what kind of plays they had to run to convert 3rd downs and a lot of their 4th downs. And almost all of them were either designed QB runs or power O scrambling from Josh Allen when being elusive out of the pocket. Now, don't get me wrong, Patrick Mahomes, how elusive he is, it was incredible. He is an incredible player. I'm not disputing that. And it's not that he just hung back in the pocket under no pressure and didn't make any clutch movements. But I think the reason that Allen had the better game is that the Chiefs succeeded in shutting out Josh Allen's most reliable receiver in Stephon Diggs. The Bills' defense failed to stop Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Both of them had absolutely monster games. Josh Allen had to go and throw 4 touchdowns to one guy, their second wide receiver. I don't even know if Davis is their second wide receiver. I think that's easily the best game of Josh Allen's career. But I think the reason that he had a better game, even though he was playing against the worst defense, is that Mahomes has better weapons. To go back to Hill and Kelce, they accounted for 246 of his 378 yards. He also hit 5 other targets for a total of 132 yards. So, I think coaching, he wins that battle in terms of who's got the better coach. Weapons, I think he's got better weapons. I think the Chiefs' O-line is actually better than the Bills' O-line. So even though
their O-line is great, their O-line is amazing.
Even though he was thrown into a harder defense and he played phenomenally, I think Josh Allen actually the Bills put the team on his back more than the Chiefs put it on Mahomes' back. Even though without either of them, they wouldn't have won either game. Do you know what I mean? But like, I think Mahomes shared that win with some other big players in that team, whereas the Bills defense got no turnovers and allowed nearly 500 yards of offense.
Well,
so
if you look at the that Tyreek touchdown, like, I'm not taking anything away from Mahomes as like throwing in yards and all that sort of stuff, but like Tariq ran basically the whole pitch like from one side on that, like, was it called like a cross? Is it cross?
He was on an in.
cross.
He was on an in route.
Yeah,
he was on an in route.
And the one where he's like did the peace sign as he that was like, was that 52 yards?
The speed on that run from him was incredible.
Yeah, but so what I meant by that was sort of backing up what Dan was saying, like where like Mahomes did his job and got it to his man, but Tyreek Hill did a hell of a lot of work on that to get that touchdown, like a hell of a lot of work. Whereas like most of Josh Allen's touchdowns were like into the end zone, the end zone to like.
Yes, we are going to talk about his unsportsmanlike conduct or taunting as it should have been flagged for, because they've been asked about that, and the excuse with them not giving it is bullshit.
Oh wait! They've made an official statement on why they didn't give it that game.
It wasn't official, but they were like he gave a peace sign before he'd beaten the man, so he hadn't actually done anything worth taunting yet. So they were like, it was just too impressive that he gave him the peace sign and then burnt him. It's like, yeah, but he taunted. It was taunting. So
that's insane.
If anything, that only goes back to a conversation we had ages ago, where it's like the taunting rule is fucking dumb. It's dumb. Like if it's just down to how the refs feel on the day, then it's a dumb rule. Because how do you coach that? Because like Tyreek Hill's not getting. Because I tell you what, like a lot of the Chiefs fans, e.g. Nick Wright in First Things First, have been like, ha ha, Antoine Whitfield, ha ha, you threw the peace sign at Tyreek Hill in the Super Bowl, and now you're out, and the Chiefs are in, ha 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 ha. Look at you now. Look at Tyreek Hill piecing out the Bills' safety as he goes to the inside. It's like, yeah, but he should have been flagged for that. He should have been penalised for that. It was a taunting penalty. Just because he beat the guy, that doesn't make sense. It can't be play dependent. Either you're taunting or you're not. So,
I agree.
What would the punishment would have been had it been a taunting?
It would have been like replay the down probably
with a loss of yards. It'd have been like a 15-yard penalty, replay the down. You know, and it's like, and I don't want that.
Sorry, go on.
Back
to that play. Go ahead.
It's just because it's still on the taunting thing. I'm not saying I want that for the game. I don't want the game to be pulled back by taunting, but I just remember thinking that, being like, that is taunting. So I knew they weren't going to call it because it was late in the fourth quarter and it was an incredible play. I knew they weren't going to call it, but it's like, it shouldn't rely on how badass was the play. You know, was it justifiably? Yeah. Was it a justifiable taunt? Because it's like, either you should taunt or you can't. Anyway, that was my final point. Carry on, Nima. Sorry.
Yeah, you're asking for consistency rather than...
Exactly. And back to that play generally, that play really defined to me the one thing that the Bills are missing, if anything, compared to, let's say, the Chiefs. They're like one reliable target, as in like one reliable person or player away from, or like kind of one extra star away from, I think, being comparable to the Chiefs in the sense of Diggs was tied up, and okay, on this occasion, Josh Allen managed to target someone else for a record-breaking 200-yard, 4-touchdown postseason game for Davis, but not having a spread of top players throughout the offense, I think, making big plays like playmakers is another reason why the Bills just couldn't kind of finish this game off. Though
I don't think that's true necessarily though, because they didn't. It wasn't in their hands to finish the game off. It was 13 seconds
but
left
that's
on
not
the clock.
that's not what I meant though.
That's like a freak play.
But like you said, Josh Allen was carrying that team on his shoulders, and Mahomes wasn't. Why wasn't Mahomes doing it? He's got playmakers. He's got people making those plays. He didn't have to throw it, 60, 70 yards like he has to do against San Fran in that Super Bowl for a touchdown.
No, 100%. But Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill are two of the best in their position, arguably,
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
whole league.
I'd agree.
So
I'd say the Bills are missing one player of that caliber from their offensive roster. The only top player that I think they have on their offense, aside from Josh Allen, is Stephon Diggs. I don't rate
And
their tight ends
he
as
was
much
he
as
was a
the
non-factor
Chiefs.
as well.
Yeah, I mean Davis, who ended up with that monster game. Do you want to know his like season stats, like in terms of? Oh God, my headphones have just popped out. I'm going to keep talking, but I can't hear you. So his stats for the season, he's tied 130th for receptions, 77th for yards, and 25th for touchdowns.
Yeah, so
he
so
got
it
his
was
second to sixth touchdowns. No, third to sixth touchdowns in this game.
yeah, so it's
He's
like,
only caught 6 all season.
yeah, so it's a complete outlier of a game, is what you're saying. So it's like you can't rely on him. There's a slim chance that he actually has been elite this whole time and he wasn't given the opportunity, but it's like odds are he was just right person, right time. And also, like, every touchdown Josh Allen threw to him was like either 10 yards from the end zone with no one in front of him, or he was already in the end zone and he'd already beaten the guy. So yeah, I do
Also, a
agree
few
with
of
that.
a few of those touchdowns were things like a Chiefs player slipping or a blown coverage. You know, arguably not defensive mistakes, but defensive mistakes and a bit of luck. And I'm not saying the Bills were lucky. That's not what I'm saying. But they lack one playmaker, I'd say, on offense to kind of give Josh Allen less responsibility on his own shoulders to have to make the runs, like the amount of fourth downs he had to convert on his legs, with his legs.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. If you rewatch the game, I think it's not that what you said is incorrect now, because you're right. If the Bills had won the toss, you're saying that they probably would have scored and won, right? And it's
Yeah,
I would agree.
we're all in agreement with that. It's like the win wasn't. The overtime win wasn't impressive for Kansas City, because I think if they lost that toss, the Bills score and they win that game. What was impressive about the Chiefs' win was that, and this actually leads to my next comment, my next point quite nicely about overtime and what we think about overtime rules, is the main talking point of this game for the Chiefs is that it's not that the overtime rules are dumb, in my opinion anyway. It's that the Bills were up by 3 with 13 seconds left, and it went to overtime. That's the Chiefs' most pivotal point of this game. They somehow took themselves from the 25-yard line to a field goal range in less than 13 seconds. It was actually 8 seconds, because they had 4 seconds left on the clock. So it took them 8 seconds to go about 50 yards or 40 yards.
You could argue, back to Nima's point, is that like without that star player, like Josh Allen, again going back to the argument about who had the better game, Mahomes or Josh Allen, like if Josh Allen had more star power, like you're saying, he had less, so he must have had he had to do more work.
Yeah.
So like,
Oh yeah, agreed. Yeah,
and there would have been less 3 and outs, because I'd say that there's a big chunk in the late second, early third quarters where no one scored. It was just back-to-back 3 and outs over and over and over again. So it's like, imagine if Josh Allen, as you said, had a Travis Kelce and a Tyreek Hill. It's like, maybe they would have scored on more of those drives. Maybe they wouldn't have fallen behind because they were 23-14, they were 26-14 down at one point. So it's like they could have maybe not had that happen.
Yeah, and also I have to say, with that last 13 seconds, fantastic play calling from the Chiefs head coach in terms of the play choice. I think the Bills were in a prevent defense on the first one, so they had, I think, a bunch on the left, Tyreek Hill and 2 blockers immediately for a little screen, and then the only reason that Travis Kelce managed to get so many yards on that second play was because whoever was marking him, can't remember who it was had outside leverage to stop people going out, stop them maybe going out bounds, or I don't know what. But as soon as I think Travis Kelce kind of led him to the sideline a bit more and then just went inside, and then Mahomes just threw it. I think just really good play design for those two situations from I always forget his name, head coach Chiefs,
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid, sorry, my brain is still tired from last night. Oh
yeah, but again, like those plays in overtime were was Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, wasn't?
And what a catch as well from Travis Kelce. Like that was it. Like, watching it again, I was like, fucking hell, that was such a good catch. It's crazy that like how good Travis Kelce is. And I say having a burner like Tyreek Hill. I mean, because like again, we're not thinking about, obviously we had the huge touchdown run and stuff like that, but it's like think about the punt return. Do you remember that punt return where he just like he kind of ran left and then just stopped, changed direction, and just ran up, and he turned a nothing punt return into a huge gain to put them into scoring range. And then the Bills actually held it to a field goal, but no, yeah, it was just a flawless game. It was
like absolutely.
Mario's asked in the chat, who retires with the most Super Bowls, Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, or Herbert? Well, currently only one of them's got a Super Bowl, so you've got to say probably Mahomes, because he's going for his third straight Super Bowl.
Currently Mahomes is more likely to, by like you said, virtue of having one. I had one more point to make on like Bills pieces or things they need. Bear in mind, Bills don't have a rushing offense or a decent rushing offense aside from Josh Allen. Imagine if they, and I thought for the last 2 drafts they might pick a running back, which they haven't in the first round. Imagine if they do that. Imagine if they pick up a running back who can take the weight of the weight of the run game and a burner, like not like Tyreek Hill, but they don't have anyone with 4.3 speed on the offense either. I wouldn't say Stephon Diggs is fast.
Singletary. I like Singletary though. Their running back.
He's a good running back. He's just not. He's not consistent though. He hasn't consistently performed for them this season. Like there's some games where he kind of is a bit ineffective, depending on how good the the opponents.
Mario here. Well, you read in the comments. It's Dable who hasn't committed to the run until their last few games.
Oh.
I think they
who's their other back
could do with an amazing
Singletary?
tight end.
Yeah,
tight end definitely.
Although Dawson Knox is pretty good, but they do need someone a little bit more generational. You know what I mean? Like a Kittle or a Kelsey or a, do you know what I mean? Like someone like that.
Like it's easy to find one of them.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like but it's like, but also like the Bills are in a position where it's like to like if we were going to ask how do we sort that out for them, the Bills are in a position right now where they need to start kicking the can down the road. They need to start trading away first round picks.
I hear Robert Tonyan's a free agent.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he'd be a great addition. They took Jake Kumaro, Aaron Rodgers, but they need to go and trade. Go get those pieces. Like Allen's proven in the last 2 seasons that he went to the AFC Championship last year, met the Chiefs and lost, and it was a comfortable loss. This year, it was a coin flip that decided it. It was a coin flip that decided that Josh Allen wasn't going to see the ball again. And we've already said it. We think I believe in my heart that Josh Allen scores on that next drive. He looked fired up after that last touchdown before they kicked that field goal to take it to overtime.
Did you see like people like saying like, oh, they had a chance they should have stopped the defense? I was like, the defense are knackered. Like they are so tired in overtime. Like you can't. People, that's their argument for like, oh, the rules of OT fair or this. Like,
I would say less that they should have stopped them before on that final drive before they kicked the 3.
Yeah, like you had 13 seconds on 25. You have to stop them there.
Not squibbing it, not kicking it short to take off a few extra seconds. Like even if Mahomes was on the 30, his own 30 or 35. If he's got 10 or 9 seconds instead of 13, he's only got one play in a Hail Mary.
They should have just onside kicked it just for the element of surprise, just to fuck them up, and then be like, whoa, and then it would just waste so much time.
But as I think Shannon Sharp was saying, he was like, if you asked Sean McDermott at the start of the season, he's like, your season's on the line, but the situation I'm going to put you in is you're up by 3, they've got 13 seconds left, and they've got 2 timeouts, and you have to kick it into the back of your end zone to go for a touchback. Are you taking that? They're going to go, yeah. Yeah, we can scheme to hold them for 13 seconds. Because the thing is, the problem was with the first play was that they were expecting something really over the top, but Andy Reid took 12 yards on the first one. He let Travis Kelce look on the go route, and the cornerback dropped to give him space, and he just hit him straight in the breadbasket just after the first down marker. So it only took 4 seconds. So then it's like, and then they timed out, and then they hit a slightly deeper one because they knew that at that point, like we need to get into field goal range this time, So it was just great scheming from Andy Reid, who is potentially making a case for himself for being the greatest offensive coach of all time in terms of play design and and the way that he's, because we can't discount the impact he's had on Patrick Mahomes. We can't just say that because Patrick Mahomes has been so good at the Chiefs that if he'd started at another team he would be the player that he is now. Andy Reid has really molded him into that.
Him and Bieniemy have done a really wicked job with just the Chiefs' play style. Like I said, like we were talking about the Titans being a boring team for me personally. Like the Chiefs, so exciting. The same I'd say with the 49ers in some of the cases with like Deebo Samuels and some of their trickier sort of players. It's just really, really fun.
Matt Nagy made Mahomes.
Yeah, he did. He traded it right past him and made his career. Did you say the Bills were boring just then, Nima?
No, Titans.
Oh, I was like, the Bills are not boring.
No. I was calling the Titans boring. No.
But yeah, I think I don't know how you guys feel, chat, but we think I think that might be the best game of NFL I've ever watched in my life, other than like maybe.
Agreed. I would say so.
I thought the Patriots Chiefs AFC Championship game, Brady Mahomes, I thought that was a pretty ace game, but we were just going nuts at our friend Sam's house. We were just like it was like 2 in the morning, and anytime anything happened, we were like like we just couldn't hold it in. So like,
I think
Nagy was the OC for the Chiefs when Mahomes was drafted.
Wait, who was the?
Oh,
he wasn't there.
Wait, what wasn't Nagy?
I did not know that
when they got Mitch though. Oh, fair enough. Who was the coach of the Bears then? And when they, yeah.
Oh, no, yeah. I was gonna say, I was like, surely that fucking I've missed that. Anyway, yeah, no, it was it was just a fantastic game, and as you can see, I have no other words for it. It was just flawless. I can't wait for the next weekend's games, which we'll get into.
Hi, thanks for watching Inside the Five. We go live on Twitch every Monday at 8 p.m, and we have an audio podcast that comes out on Sundays. Check out the links below, or if you're interested, watch more of our videos. See you soon.